This episode is presented by Shaw. This month sees Europe's elite start to battle it out to become the best of the best. There's so much pressure at this level and you can't be distracted for 1 single second. It's so important that you keep fresh and focused, which is why it's good to have Shaw's non-stop protection range of antiperspirants to hand. 72-hour non-stop sweat and odour protection that'll keep you fresh and dry on and off the pitch. Shop now at Boots. Shaw, it won't let you down. Welcome to Football Fill-In, everybody. We're not talking about England today because it was absolutely miserable. Can we start a show like that?
Well, yeah, it's true, isn't it?
We're starting the show like that,
Got some other good stuff, though.
We've got plenty to talk about. We've got loads of talking points. And we're going to start with Andre Onana, aren't we, Watto?
Yeah, what an incredibly lucky guy, eh?
What an incredibly lucky guy. It would be nice, wouldn't it, as a goalie, to have a bit of a stinker for a year and a half, right? And then still get a loan and play first-team football. It would be nice, that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and he's gone to the back of beyond and nobody will see him for a while and we'll see what happens, mate.
That transfer window for Man United was a very good transfer window, wasn't it? The ins were decent, but the outs for them were just as important.
Seems to be solving the problem, doesn't it? Well,
It does, yeah.
There's the talk, isn't there, about the transition and it's not simple because he's got to get rid of the deadwood. And I do agree. And you look at who's gone out, they've got Sancho, Garnacho, Rashford, Anthony, who were all problems for them.
Yeah.
Højlund's gone, but he wasn't a problem,
No, he
was
wasn't a problem, but he was a problem on the pitch, I'd say, because they were sticking with it and trusting it, and it just wasn't working. It was very obvious it wasn't working. But they got some massive money off the Bucks. Massive money, and it changes the culture, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah, I think that was the thing for me. I think Onana, actually, I think he's been decent in and around the building.
Yeah, it seems like he's a good lad, apparently. Yeah.
I just think the level of what he's brought to United's not been to the required thing for a club like that. So losing him, they're hopefully going to get a better model in terms of the goalie. So we'll wait and see on that one, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But I think the rest of the guys, Amorim's had to get a culture change in there. I don't think Højlund, like you said, to be honest, has been a problem. He's just not been good enough for a centre-forward for Man United. The rest of them have obviously caused problems in and around it, and you can't have that at a club.
It's really, really, really early days in the season. But if you were a United fan now, would you be optimistic?
I think they've shown signs, haven't they? Look, you don't want to get beat the first match of the season off Arsenal, do you? They beat Burnley, and actually they were a lot better than Burnley, but they needed a real controversial penalty. But it's just small shoots all the time. I don't think that they're going to be real challengers anywhere near it this year. And unless he changes his tactics, I do think they're still going to struggle.
That's the worry for me if I was a United fan, because there's a lot of talk of Thomas Frank going in. I don't know they lost their last Premier League game, but people are going, he's had that group for a month or two and you can see big shoots, whereas United, it is little. And would the inflexibility be a worry for you?
Massively. Honestly, if they didn't beat Burnley, if they didn't get that last-minute penalty against Burnley, this international break here would have been touch and go.
Do you really think
I
so?
honestly think it would have been touch and go. The negativity from the fans, the pessimism from the fans that would have been rumbling on all this week would have made it even worse when they get back after the international break. The pressure on them to get results straight away after the international break is going to be massive.
Well, let's put it this way. So I watched this morning before I came in the tennis final, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Guardiola, big Manchester derby next weekend, isn't it? He sat at Flushing Meadow watching the tennis final. I guarantee Amorim weren't doing that.
Nah. Amorim was in a computer room somewhere studying something, trying to get his 3-5-2 to work properly.
And that's the reality. Look, Guardiola, even though City had a bad result, obviously, didn't they, last time out the same, they just know that it's a different game for him. He's been at City so long. And you go back to Man United, I agree wholeheartedly. I think if they didn't win that game, he were under so much pressure in that window. And we'd only played 3 Premier League games, and obviously getting beat from Grimsby's no great shakes, is it? But the pressure that mounts on anybody who is associated with Man United as a player or a manager is absolutely astronomical. And I don't believe that he will have gone away and had a nice international.
My question would be, like, now, so they have what looks like to have been a good window for the club financially and on the pitch as well.
Yep.
But then you look at such a key position in the goalkeeper, right? And you think the club, where they're at with their evolution at the moment, surely need a tried and tested, solid presence at the back. And they've got a 23-year-old lad from Belgium, Lammens. What are we saying?
Well, Man City have got, or had, Edison, they've got Ortega, who's a good standing, James Trafford, Premier League goalkeeper, Gigi Donnarumma, world-class goalkeeper, yeah? That's the level. If you want to be competing, look at Liverpool, Alisson, Mamardashvili, they had Kelleher, yeah? That's the level we're talking about, right, if you want to be one of the big boys. And Manchester United is the hardest team to play for in the world, especially in that goalkeeper position. I think the goalkeeper position for Man United is harder than anyone else, right? And they've got a kid now from the Belgian league, never played for the Belgian first team.
I think he's played about 60 or 70
first team games in his career.
Top flight.
They're expecting this guy to be able to adapt to not only the Premier League, but adapt to Manchester United as well. And it is you're asking miracles. You're asking for an absolute miracle for this to work. It really is. So it just reeks of sort of like sticking a Band-Aid on it, really. Sticking a Band-Aid on it. Because Bayern ain't the answer. This kid, to expect him to come in and be able to do it. 23 years old, I still call him a kid, because in goalkeeper terms he is, really. But it's asking.
I don't think it's even sticking a Band-Aid on it. I think sticking a Band-Aid on it would be bringing in an old, experienced, maybe 36, 37-year-old. This is like revolutionary new trials. Like bringing in someone at that age is such a risk. Because let's say after 10 games, he's wobbling. What then?
What then? They'll put Bayern in. They've got to put Bayern back in.
Does Tom Heaton get sniffed
Tom
this season?
That's the one person I think is going to be sitting there going, I've got half a chance here. I reckon Tom would be thinking, I've got half a chance here just for that reliability and stability. Listen, don't get me wrong, we're not writing Lammens off yet. He hasn't even started. Do you know what I mean? But I just think, on the face of it, the risk that's involved and expecting this kid to hit the ground running for Manchester United, you're asking for a miracle.
It's any goalkeeper in the Premier League, isn't it, Watto? If you bring in a 23-year-old lad from Europe that isn't in one of the best leagues in Europe, to put him in any Premier League team would be a big ask.
But I don't think any Premier League team, unless you may be at the lower echelons of it, would sign a goalie and expect him to hit the ground running in the Premier League. Yeah. And that's not being disrespectful to the teams we're potentially talking about, but you're talking about Manchester United. It is a different animal to go and play in goal there. And obviously we had a group chat over the weekend and we knew we'd be doing a slightly different kind of show today with no Premier League games. So you asked me to look at the clips. And I'd seen some clips before, but I went into it in a little bit more detail, obviously, to try and explain where we're at with him today. And there's a lot of positive stuff, for sure. But there's also a lot of stuff that he needs to develop and work on, and the Premier League's a brutal place to be coming to do that. And the pressures he would have had at Royal Antwerp compared to going into Man United, it's a different ball game. What were Man United's best signing of a goalie in their recent history? If you take De Gea out of it, it was signing Van der Sar to come and replace what they needed to replace and have a steady head for 3 or 4 years. So that's why last week when we talked on the show, Martinez were a shoe-in to do that. They could have still, on the back of that, signed this kid from Antwerp and let him have some development, see it for a year, go out on loan again and learn off the very, very best in the league. But even
then, Man United get to look at him and see whether they think he's up to the level, because there's been plenty of goalkeepers, plenty of players that big clubs have signed and they get him in the building and then they see him up close and personal and you can just tell. You can tell whether they're going to be able to maybe cut it, or you can definitely tell if they're not going to be able to cut it anyway, can't you? Yeah, and if he's not quite up to it, you just know. So you'll send him out on loan. Hopefully he might do well on loan and then you'll end up selling him.
We spoke about this with Stacky the other day and don't want to kind of rake up an old podcast, but look at Liverpool with Mamardashvili. He's playing in Valencia, which is a different proposition to the Belgian league.
Yeah, for sure.
He's had a really brilliant Euros. They've signed him. He's gone back on loan, and now he's there as a 2. Yeah. And you would think that in the future there'll be a step up. Whereas Lammens is all those steps have been taken away from him.
I think Watto says it the best way a minute ago when he said, I wouldn't expect any Premier League team to sign a goalkeeper from the Belgian league that's never played for the national team, 50 games in his career. I would not expect one Premier League team to do that. A newly promoted team.
Not as a starting. Not as a starter.
I really wouldn't. It's such a risk.
You're setting them up for failure. You're setting them up for failure in the most brutal league. The Premier League has destroyed a lot of goalkeepers. Maybe me in particular, I don't know. But it's destroyed a lot of goalies, right? Yeah. But if you add into the mix a Man United goalie that has destroyed even more, it is a brutal place to try and, take that next step. And has he got some ability? Has he got talent? 100%. But Man United shouldn't be taking a chance on a 17 kind of £1 million signing. You've got to be doing the thing at Man United. That's why they signed Onana. 45 million on it. Yeah. He's going to come and be the real deal. Yeah. Nowhere near it. Now, at the point you sign Onana and then you look at this kid from Antwerp, surely Onana had got more things in his favour and still failed, and failed miserably. So it's going to be difficult for him. And I just think, for Man United, they're setting him up to fail, and they can't afford a failure. They've missed the boat, in my opinion, with a Martinez, and still sign this kid if you think he's got the raw attributes. The clips I saw, very, very talented, and you're still going to make loads of mistakes like you were making. He wants to be aggressive on the crosses. He's not quite got the timing and the attributes yet, but he's not going to learn that in the Premier League because he'll get found out very, very quickly. And as I said, I really fear for him because it's a long career, and at 23, he could get destroyed very, very quickly.
It can burn you quite deep, it can.
Yeah.
If it really gets to you, it can really burn you really deep. Before we move on, we'll talk about England in a second, yeah? Did you see when Garnacho signed for Chelsea, he had his brother with him? He was acting as an agent for the day.
It's a good wage for a day, that. Agency fee, mate. Don't worry about that.
Oh, do you know what? I just think it just sends such a bad message from the get-go. Again, so many people say, you can't...
Is he his agent?
I don't know. Either way, you can't... I just feel like sometimes you can't always keep harking back to, Sir Alex Ferguson days and stuff like that. But I can just think, right, that I can imagine if I turned up to Manchester United to sign for them and I had my brother with me in his sort of, suit with his shirt untucked and top buttons undone, and he's doing gang signs in the mirror. And he's got slits all in his eyebrows and stuff. I'm just thinking, if I'm Alex, I'm going, who's that?
Well, he would
get him out of here now.
He would have said. He would have said that, wouldn't he?
He would.
That was the power then. But the players, no, yeah. Well,
and it just sends such a bad message to start with. Put your tie on, dress up nice and smartly, get the contract signed, look absolutely professional with it.
I don't know. We haven't prepped. I don't know who his agent is, but he's the...
It's his brother.
Is it?
It's his brother.
No, I don't know. But he's...
Well, his surname's Garnacho.
Yeah. But he screams of the kind of guy that needs a proper agent. Someone that's going to advise... This is good agents will earn their keep, right?
Yeah.
And he needs someone that's proper.
Yeah.
Looking after
pulling him in the right direction.
Yeah. What about Rashford? Listen, there's always rumours and smoke, and the rumour was that he might have his loan cut short at United. Guillaume Balagay's come out and rubbished it, but smoke without fire?
Yeah, I think that's the bit for me. It just sort of follows him a little bit, and I think people are probably very quick to make up stories because any Marcus Rashford story sells very quickly, doesn't it, and travels. But he hasn't had a fantastic start. He's been on the bench for a couple of the games. I think he got hoiked at half-time in one of the games as well. So it's not been brilliant, and apparently they're not enamoured with his sort of personality and attitude, really. He's not the most outgoing of lads, which I think we kind of knew that anyway, really. But yeah, it's not been a fantastic start, but if something like that was to happen, it would be a massive problem for Marcus Rashford. I can assume that Manchester United have got clauses in there anyway, which basically safeguard them from anything like that happening.
I think they'll have really protected themselves on this one. Look, obviously they've moved him on because the character and personality obviously weren't fitting into the Man United way at the moment with Amorim, but they would not allow that to happen and that loan be stopped. I think that would be a disaster for all parties. I think they've
got a buy option for about 27 mil.
Really?
As little as that? Yeah, that's what I read this morning.
The England game the other night, I watched sort of most of it, and he wasn't fantastic. He had some good chances that he could have probably scored and should have probably scored.
Yeah, I mean, who was?
In fairness, it was a rubbish game. It was a rubbish... we had this little talk, didn't we, before the show about the smaller teams, the Andorras and the like of that, the San Marinos, Faroe Islands, not Luxembourg, Liechtenstein.
Yeah, all them, though.
They shouldn't really be in it at this stage, should they? It's not, because it's not... It's not representative of anything. England against them, or Spain against them, or France against... It's not... There's no point in it.
But they know it's like... the biggest game for them, and they'd be devastated actually that game were at Villa Park.
Yeah,
them players want to go
at Wembley.
They want to go and play at Wembley for sure. But for them, I spoke before we started, and actually, it's very hard in football to be offensive and have the quality on the ball and score. But to work against the ball, the coaching and managers have got better and better, and these players have got better. But to work against the ball and just put a deep block on, and like you said, really, it were 2 lines of 5. There were no real attacking threat. Pickford could have played probably in the middle of the centre circle for 99 minutes of the game or whatever. But it's so hard when they sat deep against the ball. You've done it. How many times do you do it in training?
So
you put a back 4 in and 2 sitters in front, and a training game would be sometimes a phase of play. You'd have 8 or 9 against that. You don't score many goals.
Because that's what I was going to ask you. How do, as a coach, you break down what is in effect 2 banks of 5? Because when they get the ball, when they dispossess England, it's not like they looked for a quick transition.
Yeah. No.
Like there's a ball, it's almost like a pass that just then comes back to one of the England centre halves.
Yeah, sure. No, it's difficult, mate. Go on, mate.
I think England's problem particularly is that we've got nobody that's fantastic at beating the man. If they had somebody who could go and technically just beat a man and dribble past 3 players, Jack Grealish.
That's exactly what I thought in the game. And when we saw him in the Euros, somebody like that who can get past players, what you've got to do is you've got to disrupt their 2 blocks.
Draw him out.
So if he's beating somebody, the second guy's second guessing we might need 2v1 against him, and somebody else is guessing we might need another one, and it's just changing by a metre or a yard, and then passing lanes and things open. But when you get them deep blocks, it's hard to keep getting corner runs and stretching teams. So you talked about Rashford in the game. He needs a big pitch.
Yeah.
He needs to be opened up and be able to run somewhere. It's not necessarily his game, the intricacy, even though he's got skill and ability. But when the game's tight like that, you do all these practices, and it's very hard against an organised 5 there. And if you just even put 2 sitters in, and you had 7 or 8 or 9 against them, and they don't move, and you've just got 2 pressing it, you can manipulate the ball all that you want. It's very hard to move that 5.
There's not the space for Madueke was all right, but there's not a space for him or Rashford to pin their ears back and go. So you almost rely on, a Grealish type character that's going to stand his one-on-one and beat his man.
Yeah, you need width. You need to make the pitch as big as you possibly can if you're England, and we just don't play that way. So it kind of makes it a little bit easier for Andorra again to go, all right, well, we're just going to chill here. They set out from the get-go to not get pumped, yeah? They were thinking, right, if we can keep this to 2 or 3 today, we will be over the moon. So that result there, honestly, that's a result.
Yeah, that's an
absolute result
for them. I remember playing San Marino, were always in the groups when I were doing it. And they just weren't normal games of football. No. You know what I mean? At Wembley, it was probably harder because they'd got no thought of doing anything. You played them away, and that's the difference. Even at 2 or 3-0, they'd try and do something. Where Andorra, like you said, just happy. If it's 2 or 3-0, it's a win. We're not trying to do anything other than...
This is why pace as well is so important in the game nowadays as well. That's why the best teams in the world who are kind of your Spains and your Frances who...
Yeah.
Even Portugal, they've got pace, And so when you've got pace, you get down the wings, you get in front Mbappe or Doué or players like that. Nice problem.
It's just not a spectacle for the fans.
No, and the problem is that players are making, like Elliot Anderson, for example, and players are making debuts, and it, other than giving them their debut and blooding them, it does nothing for them. So Lee Dixon was on comms and was kind of waxing lyrical about Elliot Anderson. He's proved that we can trust him, he kept saying. He can be trusted. And I'm thinking, listen, Lee Dixon knows more about football than me, but I'm thinking, really? Like, you could put a 43-year-old Steven Gerrard in there, right? And he'd do a job.
Exactly. He would do an absolute job as well. And
I was thinking...
I don't know how old he is,
I could have played in goal for England that night. So that's how...
You would have done a job.
I would have done a job.
You would have done a job.
And that's what we're saying. All you're showing here is that he's got a mentality to turn up and play for England, which is a pressure in itself. Yeah. But the level of the opposition, without being disrespectful, that's National League at best.
A lot of them are
be
third
honest
and
with
fourth and fifth tier. I think I saw when the striker come on or off was fifth tier Spain.
you. Yeah, so
He's buzzing with that being his first game, by the way.
Yeah.
Like if you get your first England cap and you're starting against Andorra in that midfield, you're going, oh, thank you so much. Like it's the easiest. Like
Yeah.
you just
Yeah,
get your cigar on all
Let
day.
me ask you
chill your way through it.
Let me ask you a couple of England questions then. So, Kobbie Mainoo, when we were all at the Euros together and he's got in the team and he's playing and he's the next thing, he's been overtaken by a few people, hasn't
miles
he?
behind it now, absolutely miles behind it. Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, Wharton, just nowhere to be seen. But you're not playing first team football. You're not playing on a Saturday. You're not playing with a smile on your face. You can't expect to be anywhere near it anyway.
Who would your two be if we're playing like a double pivot? Who would your two be?
I don't like doing this yet. I like to wait. Like we just played Andorra. Like honestly, you could genuinely pick a championship team of players there that should be able to absolutely dominate an Andorran team, and even a League One team you should be able to pick and they'll be able to dominate. So it makes no difference for now. And even the next game against Serbia, it shouldn't really matter.
Do you think the winners of the National League would beat them?
Should do. They should do, yeah. You ain't got any Andorrans playing in the National League. I promise you. They should beat Andorra. That's just the way that it goes.
yeah, no, it's very. You're only seeing a young England player being able to cope with the England shirt and all that goes around it. But the level of the actual game in terms of the players, mano against mano, it's a non-starter. The only thing is putting that shirt on and being able to deal with everything that comes with it. But I agree 100%. What a start to be able to play these teams, because you know for a fact that they're not even going to win a corner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the reality of the job. But it's such a mismatch. And it's actually not a game of football that fans want to see, because it's not two teams trying to win.
Yeah.
It's one team just trying to get anything below 5 really is a massive result for them.
Would you, like, Jordan Pickford's played 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Is there an argument to say, what's the point? Just put James Trafford in? Or...
I totally agree. Put James Trafford in, give him a whole game. It doesn't matter who you play. That's the whole point of it. It doesn't matter who you play, because you're not putting a team out there to make sure you win. We're going to win. Yeah, we're going to win. It's as simple as that, right? So give James Trafford a game. Jordan Pickford knows the script. He knows he's England's number one. Yeah, give Dean Henderson the game. Right? He knows that Jordan Pickford's number one. It makes no odds.
I would have really liked him to see Trafford in the goals, just because of what's happened to him at City, and just give him a real
I agree.
pat on the back and say, mate, you're our guy here. You've come through the pathway. We're going to give you a cap here. We believe in you. And, you know, what's happened there. It had just been a nice gesture. And I know football's not all about that, but it didn't matter who you played in goal. It didn't matter who you played.
That's why, like I said, it's almost like you could get all these sort of teams and they should be in like their own league to start with, and then only the best two make it out of it because otherwise they're just pointless.
People will make the argument and go, how are they ever going to get better though? And you go, listen, look at the size of the country.
Exactly.
Look, Andorra are never going to qualify, for anything.
No, they're not. Who's England's best right back, lads? Reece James obviously started the game, but you're looking at your Ben Whites and your Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. Again, I don't like doing this because I think you can only pick this nearer the time.
You asked the question.
I know I did, but it's good to have.
Listen, look,
it's good to have the option.
Yeah, it's going to be a debate, and you're going to have it in 8 months' time when we get to the last internationals in March. But for me at the minute, I think James is a little bit too injury prone. If White's back doing his bit, I think Trent and White would fight it out, but I think Trent's a little bit more expansive. If you're playing, and this has not been disrespectful to Trent, I mean, he's moved to Real Madrid, he's won the lot with Liverpool, obviously, but if you're up against a real diligent team where he's got some proper defending to do, I think you'd probably put White in, and that's where I like Tuchel, because I think he'll make a tough decision, and it's horses for courses. And if it's got to be a day where we know we're up against it, but we've still got amazing talent going forward ourselves, but we want to be a bit tighter, it might put a bit.
If Reece James stays fit this season and plays, and can grow, like physically, not physically he's a beast, right? Physically he's an absolute specimen, he's an animal. But I think his muscles are so good and so fine that they are just asking to pull all the time, and he constantly gets these little 3-weekers, 4-weekers, and it just keeps setting him back. And if you can get through this whole season, it gets a bit of hardiness into the muscles, right? And it will stand him in good stead going forward. And I honestly think that if he does do that, he is one of the best right backs in the world. He genuinely is. He's everything, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He can go forward, not crazy like Trent, but defensively he's a beast. Strong as a beast, fast as a beast, confident.
Well, if we're going
to
try and win that World Cup, you want obviously the offensive side of the game, but you're coming up against the very, very best if you get to the later stages.
You think if you're playing France, and you've got I don't know, like a Barcelo or a Doué running at you, I want Reece James in there going, nope,
and that's what I'm saying.
Mbappe, nope.
At the very end of that tournament, if we're fortunate enough to get anywhere near it, you're going to have to keep a clean sheet. So the goalie, the back four, they're going to have to be on it. And then when you talk about what you touched on a little bit, who's going to sit with Rice, it'll be a different thought process depending on how deep you get into that tournament. And then you'll hope the front four can go and do something for you.
All right, stop talking about England, you lot. It was
okay,
miserable. Boring. Nobody wants to talk about England.
I'll agree. We tried to do as best there.
International weekends should be just banned, gone forever. We want Premier League.
Till the World Cup.
Honestly, it's rubbish. Just play a behind closed doors friendly on like a Tuesday night or something that nobody knows about and get it done with.
Like the Virtue Trophy?
Yeah, something like that, the Virtue Trophy. We've got like a free agent 11, haven't we? It's not really an 11.
It's not an 11,
It's kind of like... It's good to call it that, though, isn't it? Because
we've got 3 goalies in our 11.
We can't have it as a free agent 11 because we've got 3 goalkeepers. But even at this stage of the season, right, we are, what, 3 Premier League games deep now? 3 Premier League games deep. There is an awful lot of talent that remains unsigned, even at this moment. So I'm going to read a list out for you, lads. You ready for this?
Don't read like that name there, because I've never heard of him, Patrick Bamford.
You've heard it. Oh, yeah, he's put
Patrick Branford.
Patrick Branford. So
I don't know who he's ever going to play for. And if there's a Patrick Branford out there, I really apologise, but sorry.
Imagine he's a League One top scorer or something. You're bang out of order, you are. Right, anyway, so we've got Fraser Forster, Scott Carson, Craig Dawson, Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Mikel Antonio, Patrick Branford, Fabianski, Hakim Ziyech, Sergio Reguilon. Sergio Reguilon's 28 years old, by the way.
Is he?
He's 28 years old.
Wow.
All of these players, at this moment in time, still remain unsigned.
So if you're a Premier League team, who's your guy? Who are you shopping for?
I think there's a few there that, like, I don't understand why they haven't got a team already. Do you know what I mean? Like, Scott Carson and Fraser Forster, for me, seem like the easiest choices in the world because you've got to get that English core, that British homegrown talent kind. Like, that's your third choice goalie straight away, isn't it, Watto? They're just absolute gimmies.
They're
you know
just
what I mean?
tick boxes.
Tick boxes, for
sure.
sure.
I mean, I was surprised with City, really, obviously, because he's been there so long and seems part of the fabric.
Yeah.
And if Scott wanted to carry on, I can't see why they change. But obviously, they take the guy from Chelsea, didn't they? And then Chelsea then after. But you know what I mean? And it's a great move for Bettinelli. You go to another phenomenal team and you accept that you're just going to be that training ground goalie.
No,
but
genuinely, if you put that into a starting 11, right, you've got the makings of an half-decent team there straight away. I'm not saying you're going to be like flying up the Premier League or anything like that, but you'd like to think they'd be able to hold their own against, you know what I mean, a Premier League team.
Well, you're expecting some of them to turn up in Saudi or something, aren't you, over the next week or two before their
window closes. Do you think the problem is when you're a free agent at this point of the season, do you think a lot of these players are kind of waiting for just to see something that works, basically? Because, like you say, a lot of these are older players anyway, yeah? A lot of these are older players. And they're they don't want to be moving too far from home. They don't want to have to drive more than like an hour in the morning or anything like that.
They're kind of set in life, aren't they? But there's some younger ones in there. I mean, Ziyech, well, he can't be that old,
Ziyech, how is he? Like, he's got to be 30-odd max.
I know.
Hakim Ziyech, 30.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's curious one. He's only just turned 32 last month.
Yeah. Hey.
Right? And he has been playing at Besiktas.
Do you reckon that team would beat Andorra? Even with the 3 goalies? If you're playing your goalies at right back and left back, big Fraser Forster playing right back.
No, I want to see Fraser centre half.
If Fraser went up front, every time they got a set piece, it's a goal.
I would back that team beat Andorra. I really would.
Team,
not with 3 goalies.
Hold on, how many is that?
They might.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 13 players there. I reckon we could pick an 11
Put your two goalies on the bench. They can come on if you need them. Pick whoever you want to play.
We're beating them.
I'm trusting them to beat Andorra.
That team's beating Andorra. That's
ridiculous. Yeah.
100%.
Who's your captain?
Ericsson.
Who is he captain out of that?
Dawes.
Yeah, probably
Dawes.
No, Christian Eriksen. Come on, Christian Eriksen. You've got to give
Dawes.
it. Christian Eriksen. Dawes is like, nah.
Dawes leads by.
Either way, I think they'll be all right. Right, what else are we talking about? Did you hear that the Arsenal player Jacob Kiwior only found out that he was getting a move to FC Porto because the main man, the myth, the legend, Fab Rom. It was a here we go. How does that happen in the modern day? What?
I would be astounded at that whole story, to be honest with you. I mean, the player himself, I mean, if that's who's representing you, and what about the club for a start? Like, you know, what's the internal stuff there? I find that really bizarre. But then for the guy who's representing you to not come up with...
It's not a good look,
It's not a good look. I mean, what's the plan? You know what I mean?
I think he knew he was going, from what I read.
Yeah,
he knew it was just a when, and cause I think he was in at Arsenal the next day.
Yeah.
And they he said goodbye to most of the people, but I think it was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I would say so, mate. To have it, I bet you all his mates start texting him, and everybody's flooding his tweets and Instagram.
Fabrizio Romano knows what's happening in 3 transfer windows, let alone this one.
He does. He knows what's happening next week. He does.
See Fab Rom in your Insta comments last week.
Just giving us a little cheers, lads. He's a good lad, though, isn't he? To be fair, what a guy.
He needs to come on the podcast.
He does need to come on the podcast.
Give him a couple of weeks off first.
Honestly, he's unreal though. Like
he'll be sleeping now for 3 weeks.
Yeah, mate, his phone's on fire. It's been on fire.
God,
he's got that Saudi window and the Turkish window and all them.
It never stops. But he might be doing one of them 311s to Saudi.
If he's not sponsored by a power bank company,
mate, he's sponsored by everybody. Have you seen all the adverts he does? He does adverts all over the shop for anything, mate. He's incredible. Again, what he's built, like from doing what he does, is phenomenal.
From the player's perspective, he gets the job done, doesn't he?
Yeah,
it's just the work around it and how you find out about these things. But he's probably spinning 1,000 plates. That's the problem.
That's a really good point. Do you reckon we're at the point where if a player wants a move, right, they get into Fab Rom first to put a little tweet out?
I reckon it's happening.
Because if Fab Rom puts a tweet out saying player X is on the books or on the radar,
he's unhappy.
Yeah, he's unhappy. It gets the pot stirring, doesn't it?
Yeah. So if I knew how to do all this stuff, should I get into him and say, look, I fancy Dubai next year for a coaching trip. Any chance you can open a few doors for me?
Yeah, Watto's on the free agent market.
Hey, no one's fucking having Watto from this.
Wage demands are extreme, though, mate.
Yeah, I know.
They're extortionate, is what they are.
And now you've stopped getting free Guinness in, but when I start, I can't come.
PSG's new kick-off tactic, Watto?
Well, they're doing what your old manager Pulis did 20 years ago, isn't they?
And Adi Boothroyd.
They were called dinosaurs.
Right, explain what this new tactic is.
All right, so if you'd have watched the Champions League final, they did it in the Champions League final as well, PSG, right? Basically, they won their toss, so they kicked off. First thing they did, out the feet, boom, kick it as close to the corner flag as possible, right? And as soon as they've kicked it out up there, it is like, right, lads, front foot, and they
first
all get
corner,
up there.
first throw in, 7-5.
Exactly, yeah.
We can't talk about betting, but it's a good one.
There's going to be a throw in within 3 seconds, lads. I'm just letting you know, all right? Anyway, so what they do is they basically get up there, and they must work on this in training religiously. Then what, right? Yeah. If they're going to do it, they must work on it. So of getting in there and locking it in, and making sure they've cut off all those little avenues. No quick throw in. Everybody's up there quick, and it's like, right, let's get territory and let's block it in, right, and then try and win the ball back. And when we win the ball back, we're already up here, we're straight in on their goal. That's what they're working on.
I mean, is it going to be widely adopted? Because a team like them that press like they do, it makes sense.
It makes sense. I'll back it as well. I don't see anything wrong with it. It kind of flies in the face of the beautiful football and all that kind of thing. But like you say, Adi Boothroyd, Tony Pulis, mate, we were doing this 20 years ago. Genuinely, Adi Boothroyd, right, he would say to us, get it out there as close to the corner flag as you possibly can, right? I'll call this little lane here, you have this 5-yard lane next to the throwing line. Quality Street. He said, stick it in Quality Street.
Is that what he used to call it?
Yeah, Quality Street. Stick it in Quality Street up there. Let it go out for a throw-in. Do not let it go out for a corner. A goal kick. If it goes out for a goal kick, that's bad.
And then Big Darius will be in there with his granite elbows.
And then it was just lock it in. Mate, get up there, lock it in, all right?
And that's the weird thing. You know, if you go and watch football, and how big the pitch is, it's normally, say, 110 by 70, whatever, depending on the stadium. But how many times you watch football and the simplicity of a tactic, because apart from the 2 goalies, you get the other 20 players in a 20 or 30 by 30 square is incredible. And that gives the pressing team such an opportunity.
Well, you see there, we've got a picture on the screen there behind you, Watto. Newcastle did it against Villa at the start of the season as well. So they've been taking a little page out of PSG's book. Boom, straight out there for a throw-in. Get up and block it in, lads. Simple as that.
Yeah, you can see from that picture they're certainly not trying to find a green shirt.
Hey, look at it. Look, everyone's on the front foot. He hasn't even kicked the ball yet. And you've got 4 Newcastle players already 5 yards into their half.
Anthony Gordon absolutely hunting it down.
Hunting it down. Up there as quick as you can. Don't let them take the quick throw in. Block it in, lads. Lock it in. Boom. We like to see it, we do.
Well,
what about your childhood team, Ben? Spurs with Levy.
So we were doing a bit of research on it this morning, weren't we? So some of the stuff we've heard this morning as well. I don't know why Daniel Levy didn't do this years ago. Watto, apparently he's got a 26 or 27% stake in Tottenham Hotspurs, right? And the club are valued at 2 to 3 billion quid, right?
3 to 4?
3 to 4 billion quid, which means that stake is worth near on $1 billion. Daniel Levy's a billionaire, and he's been having to put up with all of this stress and all this mither from Spurs fans and everybody else, calling him a tight ass, holding the club back for the last however many years. He's a billionaire.
Well, that's why he's been doing it, innit? Nobody knew about. Well, I certainly didn't know until this morning about the shares that he'd got in the club, and when you now see how he's been running it, I mean, his worth is astronomical. But I actually think, from the outside, the fans want to win things, don't they? You know what I mean? But actually, they did win something last year, and that's the first trophy for a long time. But what he's created is a massive business opportunity for somebody with the stadium, the training ground. It's a phenomenal thing. And I'm like you, when I realised he'd got basically £1 billion sat there, I'd have been out a long time ago. But he can put the Lewis family under a bit of pressure, I would assume, with owning so much of that. Because if he puts his shares up on the open market, then it's going to obviously open a pathway for people.
The job he's done, though, as well, is phenomenal. So everybody knows Spurs, in the Premier League era, have been the most financially successful club in the whole league. That's what they've been, right? So for him to have Spurs in this position now, absolutely brand spanking new stadium, they've got a very good squad. It's a very good squad, right? And now they're getting rid of him. I'm thinking, I'd be a little bit aggrieved if I think it was
the Lewis family that I don't think he chose to walk. From what we were reading this morning, it is, and what you see online and everything else, it was more that decision was made for him. Yeah. But I think it's really easy for non-Spurs fans to go, he's done a fabulous job. The club are in a really healthy PSR position. Balance sheet's great. That stadium, and like you said, if you were an American billionaire and you go look at a club smack bang in the middle of London and you go, they're like the dream, and the potential revenue generation and that will continue, you think absolutely fabulous. But then when you speak to the fans, so I was speaking to Luke this morning about it, and he's saying, no, it's just those times where they should have gone. Like when they got to the Champions League final, or when they finished third in the 2-horse race and they didn't go again the following year. Because you can't argue that they have actually spent money, and they have been ambitious they've appointed Conte, Mourinho, right? So they have been ambitious, but it just seems like maybe the micromanagement was an issue from Levy, and when it's really mattered, They haven't spent the money that well.
Though, that's because Daniel Levy is thinking, all right, I own a quarter of this football club. Do I need to go for that £90 million player? That £90 million I'm about to spend, I own a quarter of that, all right? I don't want to go blowing all my money, all right? Let's get a little trophy on board, get the club valued at $4 billion, right? And then I'll sail off into the sunset with my cigar and my yacht.
They have spent money. They've spent big money. And I think the argument is, Luke, is that they haven't spent it that well. Fair?
Yeah. They've always signed the nearly players, right? Instead of going the gold standard, tried and tested players, they've always signed the nearly players. And I think that's the bit that makes fans just go, put an extra 15 million, you'll get the one that's guaranteed.
Because would they have kept Kane? So
that was my point going to be. Like, surely when you've got the best centre forward
in the world, thereabouts.
Potentially, yeah. And he's decided to leave your football club, that is not a very good indication because he's been there so long. He knows what's happening behind the scenes. He's ingrained in it all.
Yeah.
And he didn't believe that whoever the coach or manager were at that time were going to be given the financial tools to buy the very best to compete. But that's what that training ground and that's what that stadium demands because they're set up to sign the very best players now because the environment that they've got is wanting the very, very best.
And the manager looks the real deal, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think the club, though, I think... It's you know what? It's really hard. Like Harry Kane, you can't blame him for moving because it's paid off in the end. He's gone out to Germany, to Bayern. He's winning things. He's scoring ridiculous goals. I saw the other day. He scored his 90th or 100th goal.
Yeah.
Or
But here's one for you. Imagine that January window, Levy's gone. Boom, he's back. Because they're going to try and win it, Lukey, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the problem is, though, he's almost guaranteed to keep winning stuff out in Germany with Munich,
yes.
yeah? But you come back over to England, mate, it's so hard to win the Premier League now. Like, if you want to win the Premier League, you're going to have to beat Liverpool. Look at that Liverpool team. Like, they've just broken transfer window records and money spent on players like you wouldn't believe. It's nearly impossible now to win the Premier League. It really, really is.
It'd be some mad 10-year project for a team like Spurs.
And not only that, like, Spurs need to change their... kind of the way that they feel about... They need to change their aura. Like, we had Dele Alli... No, we didn't. We had Eric Dyer on the podcast, didn't we?
Yeah.
And he said, when he signed for Bayern, he said, you walk in the building and you walk onto the pitch and you're with the club, and he said, and you can just smell it. He says, success is the minimum. Success is the minimum.
He said, because he made a comment about the training pitches to... Is it Thomas Muller?
Yeah.
And Thomas Muller said, we haven't really noticed. We're too busy winning.
Mate, that was it. That was it.
But that's a culture you're walking into. But that's where
culture.
Man United have dropped off when you talk about them, and that's what Liverpool have created now. We spoke about it a lot, about the players you didn't want to lose, the leaders, the winners, international captains throughout the team. And I seen Wirtz scored his free kick yesterday, so him and Szoboszlai will be fighting like fuck next week if they get a free kick.
Yeah, I know.
Who's on that? You know what I mean?
How good was it? Eric Dyer said, he said we lost the Champions League, I think it was quarters or something like that, to Napoli or to somebody anyway, right? He said it was 1-0 first leg, lost 1-0 away or something anyway like that. He said, we did okay in the game, to be fair. He said, but Thomas Muller just came sort of sauntering in his pants as he normally does, sat down, dead calm and just went, don't worry, boys, we're getting back at the Allianz. He said we pumped them like 5-0 at the Allianz or something. But
it's an inner belief in who and what the club, the badge, and everything represents. And until you get that at Spurs, or most clubs, to be fair, who are trying to compete with a really, really...
Like United had, like City had till very, very recently.
Until you get that, and that's what you talk about in recruitment, you can see a good player on your eye, but we talked about the goalie. Can he come in and can he affect a club like Bayern Munich, Man United, Liverpool, Man City? That's what you're trying to buy.
What do you reckon for Spurs this season? I know they had the... do you know what? It's really disrespectful calling it a blip, saying losing to Bournemouth at home. Because, again, they've lost players this year and they've gone again and they've gone to Spurs and beaten them.
They could have beaten Spurs 6-0. I'm not even bantering. Yeah. It could have been 6-0. They were that much better than Spurs.
Where do you reckon Spurs? First few games of the season, what are you thinking?
It's a top 6 finish for me. For
yeah? I think top 8 would be a good year.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm 6 or 7, something like that.
Yeah, top 6, I'd say so, yeah. 6, I don't mean like 4th or 3rd maybe, but I do mean 6th.
Yeah, no.
I do mean 6th.
They're not going to challenge.
No, I don't think they are, no.
Ben, Nicolas Jackson, have you seen what Bayern's president has said?
Yeah. It's not a great start. It's not a great start for Nicolas, I won't lie. I can't lie. Right, so their president, Watto, Uli Hoeneß, has basically said it's not a €16.5 million loan fee because the player and his agent are contributing €3 million. So that leaves €13.5 million. And there will definitely not be a permanent contract. That only happens if he plays 40 games from the start. He will never do that.
We will make sure he doesn't.
What on earth is that? Like, cheers, mate.
It's not enamouring you to the football club, is it? Or the model of what that should be. I don't understand why it's a story that he would get involved in.
Yeah.
As a honorary president, obviously you know all the intricacies of the deal because you've put it out there now. But why you would get involved and disrupt the hierarchy of the club and the manager and the coaches who have got to deal with this situation seems pretty crazy to me, because I actually thought he were going to be a good fit for him in terms of the playing and get the team, competing, certainly in that Champions League, because you expect them to win the Bundesliga, but they want to do well in Europe, and for him to say that he's not going to get 40 games is a bit of a killer blow.
Do you know what the question I'd be asking is? Why are Chelsea sending him there? Because, again, is this a Fabrizio Romano? Like, whenever everyone was talking about Nicolas Jackson and 60 and 70 and 80 million, right? Where have these numbers come from? Is the first thing. But then, if those numbers are real, which they were meant to be, Newcastle, Man United, all these people, why are they sending him there to Bayern Munich, where, by reading between the lines there, he's going to be coming back? And his stock will probably be lower.
Well, they want him to basically do as well as he possibly can. Their goal is basically get him off the wage bill, which is apparently an awful lot of money. You're talking near on 150 grand a week or whatever. So one, he's off the wage bill, but two, he gets a chance to go out to Germany, where I think it's a lot easier to look good as a player. You see a lot of players get moves to the Premier League because they've smashed it in the Bundesliga. Doing it in the Premier League is a big ask, It's a tough way to do it. And at Chelsea, his stats are actually okay. The goals that he scored, assists that he got. But I think the eye test was always the reason why he never cut it at Chelsea. The chances that he missed as well, massive problem. And I think out in Germany, he'll have a lot more chances. Maybe it would be tough at the beginning to get into the team. I think obviously Harry Kane's going to be first name on the team.
But I think his agent and Chelsea would have been thinking, all right, we're arguing for €3 million here because there's an agent and player contribution, but it's still a big loan fee, $13.5 million.
It is a big loan fee,
and if he can do well, so when you talk about the 50, 60, 70 millions, if they're paying, like saying our money, 10 million kind of loan fee, and obviously his worth's got to be 56, and if he does a season like he would expect, because the level drops a little bit compared to the Premier League, they're thinking come the end of the season, he's a 50, 60 million pound player for somebody.
They're hoping. That, where it says the player and his agent are contributing €3 million, what that basically means is, say he's on 150 grand a week at Chelsea, he'll have said to Bayern Munich, Bayern Munich, we're not paying €16.5 million. We can't afford to pay that. And he'll have gone, all right, well, I'll just take a bit off my wages, basically. So he'll be on a bit of a lesser wage at Bayern than what he was at Chelsea.
What did you make of... did you hear Michael Owen about Harry Kane's move?
Yeah.
Saying...
Didn't like it.
And Rio said he's won the Bundesliga, and Michael Owen said, so what? And what? Is that disrespectful?
I think... Yeah, a little bit it is, without doubt, because if you go over to Germany and if you're listening to that as a Bayern Munich fan or whatever, they're saying, hang on a minute, Michael, we're one of the biggest football clubs in the world, right?
I think it's more aimed at the league, was it?
I think it's definitely more aimed at the league. And if he would have stayed in England, if he would have signed for a Man City, for example, he would be, I don't know if he'd have done it now, but he would have been very much on his way to breaking that Alan Shearer record, and he still would have had a couple, 3-4 years left in the Premier League as well. So I understand it, but I just think, just leave it. You ain't got to come for him, have you?
I mean, it was a good interview.
It was a good interview.
It was a good interview. I enjoyed it.
There were a lot of things coming out of that, the comparisons with Wayne Rooney and who was the best at 17 years old and all that kind of stuff.
I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment that when he was 16, 17, 18, I think we've probably got slightly short memories where we probably remember the Newcastle and the Uniteds and stuff. But you rewind to when he was a teenager, he was a force of nature.
Like nothing you've ever seen before. Don't get me wrong, Wayne Rooney was similarly an absolute beast, But the numbers-wise, Michael Owen was on a different planet. He really, really was. The only difference is that Wayne Rooney, though, went on and did that in the Premier League for another 12, 13, 14 years, That's the difference. Michael Owen didn't. He got injuries and it really hampered him. I just don't like the modesty of it all.
There were no modesty there, mate.
There's not much modesty there, basically. And I just think the career that he's had, just enjoy it, mate. You've earned it. Well done.
We've got little Darcy on set, and she is snoring her head off.
Hey, she's comfy, mate. This has put her to sleep. This show here has put her right to sleep.
Don't blame her,
and she definitely watched England
Oh, yeah, blooming. She was doing this on Saturday evening, weren't she? Should we go to the quiz, lads?
Right, before we start the quiz, I meant to ask you in the show, who is your signing of the transfer window?
It will
Can I have more than one?
Sunderland goalkeeper Rurfs, Brentford goalkeeper Kelleher, or Man City goalkeeper Rummer. Take your pick.
You serious?
No, I just think they're all three very good signings, though. You'll do well to look past Isaac, won't you? You will. Come on.
Watto?
Yeah, to be fair, I was trying to go around the houses and not say Isaac. So I was thinking Gyökeres at Arsenal because they've definitely needed a forward. But he's not tried and tested Premier League, so I would have to go Isaac.
J-Mo?
Yeah. Me, if it's proven in the Premier League at the moment, I think Ekitike. Really good signing because he's come off, he's kicked the ground running, and he's done well. Hit the ground running.
He definitely kicked the ground.
He kicked the ball in the back of the net, yeah.
I'm going Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Been unbelievable, and Harvey Elliott.
Special mentions to Jack Grealish as well.
Yeah, I didn't put him in because he was alone, but still.
I still think Cunha for Man United is going to be.
unreal.
I think he's going to score so many goals this season. I'm sure of it.
He's going to drive Man United from 16th to
15th,
9th.
Ninth, yeah.
Where do you reckon they'll finish?
I did a sneaky top 4, didn't I, this season?
Yeah.
I take it back. I rescind it.
Six.
I rescind it.
Finish six.
Quiz time.
Quiz time, right, we ready for the quiz?
Yes,
Straight into it.
ready.
Is there any chips? Obviously, Tom, you don't have a chip at the start, but do you want to use a triple captains for 3-0 head start today?
Nothing.
I want
I want to
to
try and get back into it, and feel as though I've done it the old-fashioned
We're
way.
not international friendly, are we?
No, this is the fourth week of the season. Tom is 3-0 up.
Look, what I don't like is that being in my face before I start.
Yeah, I know, it gets us off to a back. Yeah. Come on, let's go.
Okie dokie, right. Question 1. Who was Danny Mills' last permanent club?
Charlton.
No. Who was Danny Mills' last
Middlesbrough.
permanent club? No.
He was there, weren't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
5.
Did he go back to Leeds?
No. All back in.
Man City.
Man City's the correct answer.
Wow.
Well done, Ben.
Yeah,
1.
We went round the houses.
Nil.
We got there.
You sit back, please, Jamie. I just saw a bit of screen there. I didn't see any
Okay.
words.
Let me turn on the brightness. Right.
What is that to help me?
Elliot Anderson was man of the match in the England game on Saturday, but what club was he at before he signed for Forest?
Newcastle.
Newcastle's correct answer. It's a bad question.
I nearly jumped in after 3 about.
That's a bad question.
I thought it's been a good show.
By
I don't
saying
want anyone
Elliot
getting upset.
Anderson, yeah, I thought
Yeah.
he's learnt from last week. He's learnt.
No.
The only possible answer by saying Elliot Anderson is Newcastle. It can't be anything else.
It could have been something
What
else.
could it be? What specifically would you want to think about with
Could have been
Elliot
like-
Anderson? What?
You've got your
I don't know.
cards.
So
if you
based
need to
on-
use
so
them.
He played for one other team.
What team did he score against at the weekend?
He's
Something
played
like
for
that.
one other team in his career, yeah,
No.
apart from Nottingham Forest.
No,
right?
he's been on loan, but it's fine.
So based on that, why didn't you get it right?
Because again, I put
You were
too
quicker.
much faith in him being a little bit deeper thinking
Listen,
than this.
listen. I saw the Barnet manager get sent off on Saturday afternoon for obviously saying something he shouldn't have done about the officials. So you've got your cards. Use them.
To be honest, I forgot about the cards, boy.
I'm going to give you a yellow card in a minute.
Get a yellow card, mate.
What's that mean?
Warning. Warning.
Does that mean he
warning.
misses this question?
No,
But
no.
shouldn't you be giving yellows to people going up to like the ref and doing that, like Watto should?
No, he was
I
just-
never waved no cards.
Don't
I'm
wave.
just having a conversation.
Yeah. I did forget about the cards.
Weasel.
You okay?
Right, come on, I'm calm.
What's your heart rate?
Already.
They're not that high yet, I don't think.
63 actually.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Like 55.
Question 3, career path question. I have played for Manchester United, Crewe Alexander, Leicester City, Birmingham
Danny
City.
Drinkwater.
No. Blackburn Rovers, Derby County, Brighton Loan, Stockport Town. I'll say it.
Port Town.
Yeah,
County.
County.
Stockport County.
I think this is Stockport Town.
Special one, special club.
Right, you have to go there again.
Am I out?
Yes, you
You're
are.
out, mate.
Question 3. I have played for Manchester United, Crewe Alexander, Leicester City, Birmingham City, Blackburn Rovers, Derby County, Brighton Loan, and Stockport County. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, you're all out. You're all back in.
Matt Jansen?
No.
Do it again.
I played for Man United, Crewe Alexandra, Leicester City, Birmingham City, Blackburn Rovers, Derby County, Brighton Lone and Stockport County.
Ah.
5, 4. No, you're out.
Am I back in?
No.
Robbie Savage.
Robbie Savage is the correct answer, but not a point for Tom.
I'm glad you're out.
Yeah, Robbie Savage. Yeah.
The Crewe one did me.
Yeah, I
The
didn't
United
get
and Crewe did me.
Did he play first team game for United?
I'm not sure.
Have a look.
Because it's a bit ambiguous when we...
Okay. Scores on the doors, 1-1-0. And Ben got a yellow card. Question 4. Rafa Benitez was an interim manager for what Premier League club?
Newcastle.
Chelsea. It's the correct answer. He also won the Europa League that year with Chelsea.
Did he?
Yeah.
No. Who'd they beat in the final?
I don't know.
Okay.
That would have been a good question.
That's on screen now.
I feel like the answer to every question like that is Valencia.
Yeah.
Probably is, yeah.
Maybe.
Question 5. Who is the only Premier League player to score 5 goals in 45 minutes?
Andy Cole.
No.
Jermaine Defoe.
Jermaine Defoe is the correct answer.
Against
Portsmouth.
Wigan.
Wigan.
For Spurs.
Yeah.
They scored...
It was Wigan, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Wigan. It was Wigan, yeah. They scored 8 goals in one half.
Yeah.
And then, well, it was 9 goals and a half because they scored the 1.5 as well. 1, 2,
Baller.
1.
Baller.
Question 6. Victor Lindelof plays for what country?
Sweden.
Sweden's the correct answer.
No, come on.
You can't say no, come on, because you always get them questions wrong. So you can't say. I'm biting on that because...
Well, give him a card.
No. I'll give myself a card for reacting.
Look, the dog is coming to give me some emotional support right now, all right?
He's a therapy dog.
Even she heard that question. And
Darcy.
she just went, nah.
Well, no, I had to give you.
bruv,
I had to give you an easy one because you got other simple ones wrong. Like Muniz, you got wrong. You got Dorgan wrong.
You don't have to answer.
Emotional support.
Listen,
Thank you,
you're
Darcy.
in charge.
I needed this right now.
Go with what you're going with.
That.
And if you have to defend yourself, get the cards out.
What do you think about that question, Ben?
I appreciate you, I really do.
What do you think about the question?
Now I'm fine, it doesn't matter. It's gone.
Question 7. Stephen Warnock had his biggest stint.
Blackburn.
Honestly, Jay, honestly,
You know how close it is, though.
honestly, I'm going to walk out. Honestly, I'm going to walk out. Stephen Warnock had his biggest stint, got the answer right.
Yeah, yeah.
So why didn't you get it right?
What don't you understand about... There's no way on this earth anybody should be able to answer a question before the actual question's been asked.
What were the rest of the questions?
It's impossible.
Of Premier League games at what club? Blackburn Rovers 88, Aston Villa 84. So it could have been Aston Villa.
But it wasn't Aston Villa.
It wasn't.
I don't know. You're not learning. You're not learning.
I'm just saying these questions do get approved as well.
Listen.
Yeah, by me.
Remember, you're the official.
I know. But he's fine to react.
Is he?
Yes.
All right.
He's on a yellow.
He's on a yellow. Oh, my God.
Question.
You're not learning.
Question 8. Who is Brentford's all-time Premier League goal scorer?
Brian and Bowman.
No.
Visser.
Visser, it's the correct answer. Visser, 45, Abuemo, 42, Tony, 32.
Yeah. 32, don't he? Thought it'd be more than that.
Scored a lot in the
How many has he
Championship.
scored in
Saudi.
Saudi?
Gets 3 a week.
You might as you're gone in body.
Gone.
You're just here in spirit.
Watto, you can still win. I'm pretty sure Tom's on 3, you're on 2,
Don't
you're on
seem
1.
so
I'm on 2.
surprised at that.
You're on 2 as well.
So surprised at that.
Question 9. Where did Phil Jones start his career?
Blackburn.
Blackburn.
So bad.
It's not a bad question.
It is.
It's
He's played
not.
for 2 teams in his career.
And he's now a pundit.
Yeah, a lot of players are pundits now.
They are indeed.
Question 10. Where did Aston Villa sign Ezri Konsa from?
Brazil.
No,
I don't know the answer to that.
no.
No idea.
See, because they don't know the answer, 'cause it's not. But it could be easy for someone.
Is it Brentford?
Brentford's the correct answer, yeah, but he said Brazil. It's no.
Well, I can't.
Let Watto
Let
get
these
it.
two just have a meltdown, shall we?
Watto can have it, it's fine.
I'll just say Brentford. But it don't matter. How many has he got?
He's got 4, so you couldn't win anyway, because you got the question 9 correct. So Tom Mio goes
Wait,
to 4.
Brentford?
No, he's already got the answer.
Oh, what was it?
Brentford. Yeah, it was. I went no, you got it wrong because it was Brazil.
Ben, you just got to wrap it up, mate, and say that we're fighting the tide here.
If you want questions, send them in, and we'll see if they can do any better.
I didn't think it could get any worse. I didn't think it could get lower. I really didn't. And you've gone and done it. You've exceeded my expectations of shitness today.
Hey, remember that cards carry over, don't they?
No,
Like,
Game's
just
done.
a-
Once the game's
just a
done,
what?
that's it.
you can get sent off after a game. You
Yellow-
can get fucking sent off after a game.
Yellow can't carry on to the next week.
No, you double him up, don't you? Get him off.
No.
There's a tally.
Oh yeah, so you got
Thanks,
yellow
everybody.
card.
All the best. We'll see you next week, all right? Show's done. You can't give me a yellow card now. It's done. Show's done.